A collective of civil society organizations in Sri Lanka released a governance diagnostic report that assesses the country's anti-corruption landscape. The report was released by Transparency International Sri Lanka and the Centre for Policy Alternatives.
May 2022, Sri Lanka defaulted on its debt for the first time in its history. And in March 2023, the IMF approved the 2.9 billion EFF for the 17th time. So we have lots of first and 17 times. The current IMF program includes governance and anti-corruption pillar for the first time in Asia. So this is also an opportunity for us to engage with this issue for the first time and be an example, a clear example not only to Asia but also across the board in IMF diagnostics. There is an unequal responsibility borne by the people who are not responsible for the crisis, whereas those who are responsible sort of remain relatively unscathed. Many other draconian laws are still either in place, like the PTA, others are in the wings, such as the proposed Anti-Terrorism Act, the Broadcast Bill, the NGO Bill, and yet others are selectively misused, like the ICCPR Act.
Founder, Executive Director at the Centre for Policy Alternatives, Dr. Pakiasuthi Saranamuthu, spoke at the event.
What we have in Sri Lanka is now the opportunity to forge a new social contract. That is what has collapsed. That is what is rotten to the core. And in order to do that, we need to ensure that issues of accountability and transparency, that we get rid of the corrosive cancer of impunity which has been eating away at the state institutions. We need to ensure that we have a clear notion of conflict of interest. We need to ensure that there is a difference between a state institution and a government institution. But at the core of our governance crisis is the executive president. The executive presidency consolidates so much of power with very little accountability, if any at all. Therefore, it needs to be abolished. And I appeal to political parties as we approach a presidential election to come up with the abolition of the executive presidency as core to their political program.
The report, which was launched in Colombo, identifies key aspects in governance that require systematic attention from both a public opinion and economic governance perspective.